What's up guys, this is Tricia Burns here from the Coastal Collective, here with Saxophone Central. Just want to talk to you about the custom Z saxophone from Yamaha that I've been playing on for quite a while now. It features a couple really cool things, one of which that's the most notable for me anyway as a player, is it has a teardrop front F sharp key, so when you're playing up in the top range of the horn, even bridging towards that altissimo gap, everything works a little smoother, it's a little more ergonomic, you don't have to think about it as much as far as where your fingers are going when you're reaching up in that top area. And I know a lot of times as players, we try to not want to think about what our fingers are doing as much as possible. Another thing to note is that it's not as heavy as a traditional saxophone would be, and traditional meaning vintage, you know, like your Selmer SPAs, the King horns, any one of those, cons, whatever your vintage horn of choice is. It's not as heavy as those, but it also gives you, it still gives you that vibe, that very dark sound when you need it to, when you want to have that vintage feel. Another thing to note is that the bore is actually a little bit bigger, which helps in that vintage sound that some people look for. It gives you a little bit more control, at least for me as a player, it gives me a little more control in all areas of the horn. Another thing to note is that when I got this horn, it was brand new, fresh out of the box. And it didn't need a setup. It really didn't. Everything ergonomically worked great. The key work was fine. Everything had the perfect amount of tension on it. It's a versatile horn. You can do whatever you want. If you want to play a little dark or a little more of a jazz quartet kind of setting, you can do that. But it definitely has the ability to scream and wail when you need it to. And another thing to note is that it comes in multiple finishes. So right now I have the traditional, just a gold lacquer, but it also comes in a black lacquer, comes in a silver plate, and it also comes in an unlacquered finish as well. One last note before I let you hear the horn a little bit, the neck is also a little different. It's got a little bit of a heavier weight to it, which is going to harken back to those vintage horns that everyone's seeking after. But it still gives you that flexibility that as modern players that most of us are, we all play different things. I know for myself, one week I'm playing funk music, the next week I'm playing jazz, then I'm playing reggae, then I'm playing R&B. So you know, depending on the week, I like to have something that's going to definitely work in all applications. And if that's something you're looking for, a great place to start, if you can get your hands on one to try, would be the Yamaha Custom Z saxophone. For a quick sound reference, I'm playing on a Theo Wanne Shiba 8-star, a Rico orange box 2.5 reed, and a Silverstein Classic lead. I'm just gonna let you hear the horn a little bit, and then hopefully you enjoyed the video, and get your hands on one and try it.
In order to give you another viewpoint of the Yamaha Custom Z saxophones, we asked our friend Chris Ward, saxophonist for the Hipster Assassins and also a Yamaha artist, to give us his 2 cents on why he chose the Custom Z.
Hey everybody, my name is Chris Ward. I'm a Yamaha saxophone artist living in Brooklyn, New York. I've been playing Yamaha for the last couple of years, and before that I was using a bigger name brand, Selmer. I've been playing Mark VI for over 20 years. I started playing saxophone when I was 9. As I have been progressing as a professional living in New York City and traveling and different things, I ran into a lot of issues where my vintage horn needed a lot of repair and the upkeep was just outweighing the gigs. And I needed something fresh and new that felt road ready. And I tried a bunch of different horns and I found the Yamaha Custom Z at the NAMM show a couple years back, and I fell in love with it. It felt like a road-ready horn. I found out the metal was still French. It was like a Mark VI in that regard, and it just had characteristics that I was looking for. The Mark VI that I had was a little too resistant for what I was looking for. I occasionally have dealings with asthma, so for me I needed something that was going to be as effortless as possible. And so I just immediately fell in love with the Yamaha Custom Z. It's a very free-blowing instrument. It has a great sound, core. I've been touring with it ever since I got it, and I have no issues with it. I have to take it to repairman maybe 3 times a year, but it's mostly for just minor upkeep. And I love it. It's one of my favorite instruments that I own.
Want more content just like this? Be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell for notifications. Also, check out the article for Leger Reads on saxophonecentral.com.